junior high because I don't know about you, but you can hear it right now. It's been a very difficult week, and I'm sure a lot of you are feeling that too. It's been interesting. I don't know what's going on, but if we can just try to focus on the positive and lift ourselves up, I think it'd be helpful. So if you can just write something on there and drop it in the bucket before we leave. Today, we're going to go over a couple of things that's on the agenda. The first thing is Greg Bird is here to talk to us about IRAM this year. It's changed quite a bit, and so he's going to go over that process with you. And then we're going to talk about instructional rounds that are going to be occurring soon. So I'm going to go ahead and let Greg start, and then we'll talk about the rounds in just a second.
For those of you, is anybody new to the district this year?
A lot.
We got a lot of people? Okay. IRAM was it is, we started this last year. It is intended to be a challenging, fun type of competition that hopefully gives you the opportunity to learn more about technology. We learned a lot of lessons with how we developed it last year and put it in place and allowed us to see where our flaws were. And we spent a lot of time looking at, okay, that didn't work as well as we thought, but we took some words of advice from other people on who's implemented programs like this and tried to implement some things that allows us to make it better. And before I get into the details, I am going to give you kind of an overview on what IRAM is. A lot of you who were here last year, you know what IRAM is. I want to be able to have everyone here know what it is. I've been trying to come up with a thought on how I can share with you the idea or the concept behind IRAM without really getting into IRAM first. And it's a challenge in a way that it's almost, you would address IRAM much in the same way you would address a puzzle that you've never worked before or something along those lines. And I got to thinking, what can I bring to kind of just to break the ice with this topic? I couldn't think of anything. And then just a few seconds ago, after y'all were already in here, I happened to see Beth has this little game gadget laying on the shelf. And I thought, maybe that's it. So I went and looked at it and thought, that's perfect. I've never seen this before in my life. So I don't know anything about it. So for y'all who don't know anything about IRAM or how to use IRAM, it's very much the same concept. Y'all may not know anything about IRAM or how to use it or engage it. Much in the same capacity that I've never seen this puzzle before, or it's not really a puzzle, I think it's a game. But has anybody in this room ever seen this game before? I haven't, not until a few minutes ago. Okay, now I bet if I take just a few minutes, this doesn't look like it might be too difficult to set up. Now, I dropped a few things, that's part of the process, I'm sure. But looking at this thing, it looks like a basketball goal. And this looks like it slides on the back of it. And this looks like it does something, I'm not sure. And then this looks like a basket. Looks like it might clip on here. I made a basket. That's a joke. But I could probably, if I practice it, I could probably get it. But what I've done is I've illustrated. I've never seen this before in my life, ever. But I was able to simply analyze the situation. And this is simple enough to where any of y'all could look at it and do. Now, with that in mind, I didn't have any instructions on how to put this together or how to use it. But any one of us could probably have done what I just did. And if you use that same mentality with IRAM, you'll see that although you may not be familiar with what you're being asked to do, that it isn't as difficult as what it may first appear to be. I mean, because when I opened up this bag, it was just a bunch of mixed parts. Now, having said that, I want to show you a real quick video. And Mr. Barker's only giving me 20 minutes to talk, so y'all ain't got to listen to me too long. After we get through here today, in order for you to be able to go and review and see and participate with IRAM, it's real simple. The web address is iram.mwisd.net.
And you sent the district email out to everyone?
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep.
I heard something about an iPad.
http://iram.mwisd.net. That's how you gain access to the program. And real quick, we'll watch this video. It's about 4 minutes.
Hey there, it's me again, your friendly neighborhood technology director, Greg
Oh,
Burke.
my word.
I want to provide you with some exciting new changes to IRAM. Valuable feedback has been provided to us about how we can make IRAM even better. Some of these changes will allow for easier participation, less difficulty in understanding what to do, more flexibility in choosing which projects to do, and more fun. So let's get started. In this short presentation, I want to provide you with the following information: who gets to play, how to win, what prizes you get, where to get more information. But first, I need to provide a brief introduction to those who are new to IRAM. As we all know, technology is ever-changing and is a great tool to have in the classroom, if you know how to use it. To assist with the challenge of keeping up with the ever-changing pace, we are attempting to provide the staff at MWISD the opportunity to better understand technology. While this program, which we have named IRAM, may or may not make us experts, it will hopefully iron out the old thinking cap. So, now that we know what IRAM is, let me answer the questions I mentioned. Who gets to play? For the easier participation I mentioned, every staff member at each of the campuses will be placed on a four-man team. Each member of each team will be given the opportunity to earn both individual points and team points. By working in teams, it will hopefully be less difficult in understanding what to do. How to win? You gather points by completing different technology-related challenges. Each challenge is described on the IRAM page at iram.mwisd.net. This webpage is hosted through our district Google account, so you will need your school Google account to access it. Please see your campus librarian for more information about your Google account. Now back to the challenges. Each challenge has a certain point value given to them. The more difficult the challenge, the more points you earn. You get to choose which challenge you wish to complete, and there is no certain order in which they must be completed in. This creates the more flexibility in choosing which projects to do that I mentioned. What prizes you get? The prizes are broken down into two categories: the individual prize category and the team category. Like I mentioned before, each challenge is given a certain point value. As you complete a challenge, you earn the points for yourself and for the team. The individual points can be spent towards certain prizes like a 1-pound bag of frou-frou coffee, a wireless mouse, movie theater tickets, a stylus for your tablet, a flash drive, or phone chargers. Remember, your individual points can go up when you complete challenges, but then go down when you spend them. Team points never go down, and they accumulate as you earn more points. Team prizes will be awarded on Friday, May 27th, 2016 at 8 p.m. Basically, the team with the higher number of points gets the bigger prizes. The team prizes will be awarded as follows. Each member of the top winning team will receive an iPad. That's right, 4 members each get their very own iPad. Other top 10% of winning teams will receive a $25 gift card for local restaurants. The top 11 to 25% gets Sonic gift cards, $5 Sonic gift cards. Where to get more information? To get more information, visit the IRAM page at iram.mwisd.net or send me an email, gbird@mwisd.net.
Teacher, I have a question. When do I get to play?
Good question, Sally. Everything is ready now to begin. It's up to each team or individual to decide whether to work together or on their own or a combination of both. The time spent is totally up to you as to when and where you choose to work on the projects. And since IRAM has its very own webpage with all the instructions, you can access it from anywhere at any time. But wait, there's more. We have combined Tech Tuesday with the IRAM point system. You also get to earn points by participating in Tech Tuesday. That's right, you get to earn both individual points and IRAM points by participating in Tech Tuesdays. Be sure to visit the IRAM page for more details. So there you have it. Good luck and have fun.
I know, it's too corny, right?
No, it's cool. What's that website?
On the main page, this breaks down basically everything that was mentioned in the video. It gives you a breakdown on what IRAM is. It tells you how to win, you collect points. Last year we used a level system. You completed a certain number of challenges, it gives you, you win a prize and it takes you to the next level. You do some challenges there, you win a prize and it takes you to the next level. We've gotten rid of the levels. We've basically taken all of the projects or the challenges and made them all available, given them a point value and say, you pick and choose which projects you want to complete, and each challenge is worth so many points. As an individual, you earn so many points per challenge you complete, but as a team, it's the collective value of each individual person's score that makes up the team score. And then on May 27th, whichever team has the highest score wins the iPads. Now, I've been asked, what happens if there's a tie? Now, if you go out there and look at the challenges, we have way more opportunity to score points this year than as compared to last year. I very, very seriously doubt there's going to be a tie because of all the different multiple facets of winning it. But if it comes down to a tie, I don't know, maybe you have to share your iPad with somebody. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll make it work for everybody. We want to make this fun is really what it boils down to. So if it just by chance, lightning strikes twice and we do have a tie, then we'll figure something out, I'm sure.
8 iPads. Thank you very much.
But if you go to the top of the page, you know, and by the way, I use Google Sites to create this website that I've got, just Google Sites. And so it has built-in structures on how it does. And it's not always the perfect tool to use in every situation, but I wanted to use some of the very same tools that are introduced in the IRAM challenges. And Google Sites is one of those. But at the top, if you look at the navigation, you can click on challenges and it will provide you with links to all of the challenges that are available. Y'all probably can't see them from where you're sitting, but one of them is called Collaboration with Students, blogs, Google Sites, interactive boards, atomic learning, online assessments, Tech Tuesdays, videos, web mix, Google Docs, gamification, flipped classroom, QR codes, educators, PLNs, and Twitter. And I will say, guys, I know that Travis ran away with this last year in terms of number of people who were collecting prizes, but word has it that y'all are really going to give them a run for the money. And not everybody in here in this room may not realize this, but there are people in this room right now who've been bugging me all year long. When are we going to start IRAM? When are we going to start IRAM? What's the details on IRAM? Can you tell me what's going on with IRAM? I can tell we've got some serious competitors in this room that wants to win an iPad. And from the nature of visiting with all the campuses, can you stop the recording? No, I'm just joking. Guys, y'all's atmosphere has probably got a good atmosphere, the right kind of atmosphere in terms of the right mix of people who can really give Travis a run for the money. Because of the questions I've been getting so far, people have been saying, you know, when are we going to start out? What are we going to do about these iPads? I want to get one, you know. I stopped and talked to Gayla. Of course, y'all know that Gayla Quinn won last year with Travis. And she, you know, big smile on her face, and I was kind of asking her, I said, have you heard anything about junior high wanting to give y'all a run for the money? Because I've heard that. And so they're on their toes about junior high wanting to really come after them this year in terms of being able to step up to the plate. So they're kind of prepared for y'all to, I don't want to set y'all up for failure, but they're kind of expecting that, you know, they've got somebody to compete against this year. And I think y'all have got the right people to do that. I'm really looking forward, I'm looking forward to the excitement that might come out of this. But if you click on each one of these challenges, it gives you the breakdown. And I just happened to click on Google Sites challenge. This one's worth 50 points. If you go to Atomic Learning, give y'all a hint, junior high. If y'all want to leg up on all of this, the way I would look at this is where your points are. Last year we had five atomic learning opportunities throughout the whole program. These are all the different ones we're doing this year.
And every one of those is worth
Every
20
one of those
points?
is worth 20 points each.
Greg,
Okay.
kind of explain atomic learning for the new people.
Atomic Learning is a subscription-based professional development leaning towards technology. AtomicLearning.com is the website. Everybody in the district has a login. If not, see me and I can make sure you get one. But basically, you can go out there and they've got all kinds of videos on all kinds of different aspects of using technology. This is just to name a few of them. These are the ones we selected specifically for IRAM that we wanted to incorporate with that. So, and it's just a matter of going through the assessments on Atomic Learning will get you points. And another one that's...
I have a quick question on that.
No.
If we took them last year, can we revisit them?
That hasn't been decided, but, I mean, if you did it last year,
I would think no.
okay.
That's what I would think. You would think yes?
I would think yes.
Implement what you've learned.
Yeah,
Well, that's true too. So yes, that's probably true.
and all of that, but I mean, there's value behind what you already know.
And I've referred back to them before too, so.
Yeah, but that's a good question.
Do you have to score a certain,
To get your certificate,
it in Atomic
70%, but you don't have to have a
Now, let me go back to the
90%
homepage real quick.
overall?
and have
Oh,
you,
on the Atomic Learning,
Yeah.
70% or higher on the scores to achieve
a certificate.
certificate.
Have paraprofessionals all been added? I know that last year we had an issue because our paraprofessionals participated in IRAM.
Yeah.
And I had to get them all added. So have new paraprofessionals been added to Atomic Learning?
That's a good question. I'll have
So,
to check and see.
okay, thank you.
Y'all may not be able to see this, but if you go to the site, when you earn 150 points, and as you see, it will, you can probably complete 3 challenges, and you'll have 150 points real easy. You get the frou-frou coffee. I like that turns a lot. I like black, just regular plain Jane coffee. My wife goes to the store, she gets pumpkin spice. What's some other ones?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, French vanilla, whatever. There's all kinds. I call that frou-frou coffee, but a lot of people like that. I think it's great. So we're going to throw in a bag of frou-frou coffee for an opportunity to win. We've got the flash drives again. Those were a big hit last year. Then we got phone chargers. So if you get to 150 points, you get to choose one of those prizes. When you get to 375 points, you get to choose theater tickets, which here in Mineral Wells, wireless mouse, or a stylus, a tablet stylus. You don't know what those stylus? Well, maybe you can hook them up with some coffee, and they'll be good to go.
Something you said a minute ago, though, you said that you spend points.
Yeah, and
So if we buy frou-frou coffee,
when I initially put this together, the idea is you can spend your points to game, but I've got to go back and edit that video because we've since then just decided,
that you can,
just keep the points and we'll just build on top
Okay.
of it. It's gonna be easier to keep track of.
Okay.
I think I was trying to make it too difficult when I put that video together. But does anybody know what the Tylus tablets are? Or stylus? Tablet styluses. Is that it? There's a lot of those that have a ballpoint pen built into them, where you use them as a pen or as a stylus. That's what we're talking about there, is some of those. And then we've got the IRAM t-shirts, and we've also got the Rams athletic polo shirts that you can win as well. On the teams, and I'm gonna hit this real quick, and then I'll be done, Mr. Barker. Of course, we've got over the home page, we've got over the challenges. The last tab is the progress. On the progress tab is where you can find out information about your team, how well it's doing. It keeps track of the scoring system. Junior high is the only ones that submitted me so far the team breakdown. So I'm waiting on the other campuses. But this is the list we've got put together. And if you scroll down here to the bottom, as the challenges gets going, you can come and look at the different team points. You can see the value of each challenge. Everybody's logged in, the challenges that have been completed. I've got a points log, and the idea here is that way, if there's any question about how many points someone has, it's out there for everybody to see, so there's nothing hidden. It's out there in plain sight for everybody to see how many points people are earning. And then obviously the individual points. If you want to know how many points you as an individual have, you can go to this site.
Do we log our own points or do you log them? How do we?
No, and there's instructions on how to win your points on each challenge.
Okay,
So basically, as you complete that challenge, there will be specific instructions on how to claim your points for that challenge.
So Greg, like the Tech Tuesday yesterday, I sent you the sign-in sheet this morning of who attended that. Is that what we do? Is that possible?
Yes. And what he's asking about, the other challenge I'm kind of excited about is the Tech Tuesday Challenge. This is going to be another huge way that you can earn points for yourself and your team. And there's a lot of opportunity to earn points within this one challenge right here in of itself. So I would spend the time getting familiar with this challenge, because if you think that you have a competitive nature and that you want to get the edge against the other teams, the edge is going to be found in Tech Tuesday Challenge and the Atomic Learning Challenges. But obviously the other challenges are just as valuable as well, so take advantages of those. I can't necessarily say that if I had a crystal ball and I could look into the future, I would imagine that the winning team, they're probably going to have a lot of Tech Tuesday points. They're probably going to have a lot of IRAM, the Atomic Learning points. And they're going to have some other challenges as well. That's probably what, I'm just trying to give y'all what I've heard over Travis. So give y'all some insight on what I've heard. Any other questions? Any questions at this point?
Can I test drive the iPad?
Good question. Keep in mind, I want you to go back and think about that basketball goal that I had up here. These challenges don't come with instructions on how to accomplish them. The idea is that you're going to go through the process of kind of venturing outside of your comfort zone and learning how to do that. Learning that's part of the process. That is the challenge. So we haven't set aside, okay, here's a checklist, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and I think a lot of times people have expected that that's what it's going to be, and it's not. The challenge is figuring it out.
you've got flexibility and creativity when you're doing your challenges.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
What if we've already done some of the challenges this year? Can we submit those?
Yes, you
if they're
can.
already completed?
Question was, if you've already completed some of the challenges, of course, these challenges weren't
She's
listed
not on my
yesterday, but
team.
some people may have already completed them. And if it just so happens you have, go ahead and submit them.
So if I've already got a Twitter account, how do I submit that?
I would look at the Twitter challenge.
Is it documented
I
somewhere?
wrote this
what
one
the
night,
times are? Did
in
you
the middle
see
of the night.
Yeah, they're under
I
that-
wasn't remembering
it's
anything
under that
after I wrote
tab.
it, so.
it on the website?
Yeah,
Yes.
every challenge has how you get.
Yeah,
to
every challenge has a unique method in how you claim your points. So the details on each challenge is listed on the challenge page. Like this is the Tech Tuesday challenge page, and I got there by logging into the IRAM website, going to challenges, and clicking on whichever challenge you want to have information about.
It says
Like yesterday, we had
progress.
Tech Tuesday
Under
here.
the
and we
progress
had
tab.
probably, I don't know, 6 to 10 people that showed up, so I've already submitted that to Greg so he can get those points added.
And those people, I'm gonna go ahead and reward the points for.
This right here under the progress tab is where you'll be able to go and find your teams.
Is that on Google Docs?
No, it's a website.
Oh, it's a Google site.
Google website.
So here, it's just a matter of logging in. This is a Google website. It's within our Google Education account, so it's just a matter of logging in. When you go to this website, iram.nwisd.net, if you're not already logged into your Google account, it will prompt you for your Google password. You just put in your Google username and password, and it'll give you the data. But this breakdown of the teams, junior high has 14 teams, and there's 4 people on each team except Beth. You may want to know, on team 14, Beth Henderson, Amanda Hinojos, is that how you say it?
Hinojos.
And then Heather McCrae. Y'all are a team, but you've got one ghost member here because we didn't have enough to fill that 4th spot. And so that 4th player, for every point you earn, well, for every 2 points that you as individual earns, the Ghost Rider earns 1. That will keep it fair. So it'll be the average of, that way you have a 4th person on your team and you're not gaining any points. So.
Yep, she can do a lot of
If
it.
there's not any other questions, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Barker, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Greg.
That's a good idea.
Any questions on that before he skedaddles? Okay, I want to take the rest of today to go over instructional rounds. I know for those of you that have been here before, you are familiar with that process, but for those of you who aren't or haven't been here, probably aren't so much familiar with the process, so I'm going to go ahead and review that with everyone and talk about the next instructional round. On October 21st, which is next week, I think is it Wednesday maybe? I can't remember. That is the day that we will have instructional rounds on this campus, and they will be external instructional rounds. So to kind of back up a little bit, basically an instructional round is an opportunity to network with other people and gain an insight as to the patterns of instructional practice on the campus. So there's two different types of rounds. There's internal rounds and there's external rounds. Internal rounds is where you as teachers would go in and you're going to observe other teachers in their classrooms. External rounds is just the opposite of that. It's people that are outside of our school, such as other district administrators, central office administrators, the high school principals I think are going to come to this next one. ESC 11 people are going to come, and they meet in the library. We talk about the process. We talk about where we've been and kind of where our focus is and where we're going. Then they go into classrooms and they observe, and then we come back together and we debrief. So I'm going to go into more specifics about that so you're completely in the know, and it might take some of the pressure off and help alleviate some of the stress. But that's basically, in a nutshell, what external rounds are. It's just going into classrooms and observing the practice and then coming back together to try to determine what are our strengths, what are our areas for growth, so that we can continuously improve. I want you to know that an instructional round, when we go into classrooms, when you go into classrooms, when administrators go into classrooms, it's not going to be a walkthrough. It's not something that's documented in your personnel file. There's not a sheet that gets filed anywhere. It's only informational. So when they come into your room, they're not writing your name down, and they're not trying to figure out if what they're putting down is evaluative. It's not an evaluative tool. So I want you to be relaxed in that aspect. It's a systemic approach where these people go into your classrooms, and as a whole campus, they're looking for patterns. So when we come back and we debrief, we try to determine, is this something that we see as a whole campus? Was this just a one teacher thing? And so we take that into account as we come up with, is it really a problem for Mineral Wells Junior High? Is it really a strength for Mineral Wells Junior High? And from that process, we determine what it is that we need to work on. So I just want you to know, it's not evaluative. Your name doesn't go on anything. Nothing goes in your personnel file. When the people all meet together and we determine what it is that what the process entails, basically they're told at that point that when they go into classrooms, they have to record facts. It's all factual evidence. So when they're writing on their little notepads and taking notes of what they see, they're coached in the aspect that they have to only write down factual things. So if they go into your room and they notice that instruction began 10 minutes after the bell rang, maybe it's because you spent there or the kids spent 10 minutes on the bell ringer, then they're going to write instruction began 10 minutes after the bell rang. They're not going to be able to write failing to start class at the bell caused students to misbehave, because that's a judgment call. They don't know that for sure. So it's going to be completely factual. So they go in your classrooms, they stay for about 15 minutes or so, and then they'll go on to the next classroom. Whenever we get finished with the rounds, everyone will come into the library, and they're told to go through their notes that they make, all their facts, and they have to find 8 to 10 pieces of evidence that they found that they thought were pertinent. And that's the only instruction they're given. So at that point, they go through and they start highlighting the 8 to 10 things they want to notice. It could be strengths, it could be areas for growth. After they process and get those 8 to 10 facts down of all the observations that they went through, then they have to go through and they have to talk about it with their group of people and decide if the things they wrote, the things they highlighted are facts or are they judgments. And if they're judgments, they have to be thrown out. So it can only be factual evidence. They write down, once they determine what the facts are, they write down their 8 to 10 facts on a sticky note. Then as a group, they're told to take their sticky notes and put them on chart paper. And they're told to group them into like 4 or 5 groups. Again, they're given no specific instruction. So as a group, they have to decide, what do our sticky notes all have in common? And so usually it's something along the lines of student engagement or classroom management, the big ideas of what they see in a classroom. So they group them all together in big groups. Then we post the big posters around the room from each group on how the sticky notes are all arranged. They do a gallery walk to see kind of what everybody else noticed while they were in classrooms and how they grouped their data. And then we come back together as a whole team and we decide, we make a prediction. And so the prediction is, if I were a student at Mineral Wells Junior High and I did everything I was expected to do, I would be able to ... And so as a whole group, somebody may blurt out and say, well, if I were a student at Mineral Wells Junior High, I would be able to talk and work cooperatively with the partner, because that's one of the things we worked with, and they see that as a pattern. If everybody saw that and everybody can agree on it, then it goes down as a prediction. But if 2 or 3 people speak up and say, well, I didn't see that in the classrooms that I went into, then we have to ask them, is that a pattern we want to write down? In the majority of classes, is that what we saw or not? And as a whole group, we have to decide if that can be considered a prediction, a strength, or an area for growth. And then after they process all of that, they leave us with suggestions for they identify our strengths, they identify our areas for growth, they predict as a student what would be able to happen at the junior high, what students would be able to do, and they leave us with that. And then I hold on to it. Then about, I think it's around November 10th, we'll do what we call internal rounds, and that's where you'll go into classrooms, and you'll carry out the very same process. You'll write down facts, we'll come back together, we'll pull out 8 to 10 facts, you'll put them on chart paper, you'll group them, we'll figure out strengths and weaknesses based on systemic, and then we will see what we decide that students will be able to do and make our predictions. We'll compare what we said to what the outside group people said. And then as a complete faculty, we will determine what our next problem of practice is. So I guess it's kind of got a negative tone when you say problem of practice because it's got the word problem in it, but you have to remember this is a continuous growth model. So is there always going to be something to work on? Yes, because nobody's perfect. And so it's easy to get down on yourself, but realize that it's about growth, and that's the whole reason for doing this. We want to improve. So that's the process, and then what basically happens is whenever the people come in your room, they stay for about 15 to 20 minutes, they will just kind of find a spot in your room to stand. They're told that you're not going to speak to them. I mean, you can be welcoming, but you're not going to really carry on a conversation with them at that point. You're going to continue on with whatever it is you're doing, and then once they may go around and they may ask kids questions like, tell me about what you're learning, or why are you doing this, or what have you learned in the past that supports this. They'll ask questions just to get evidence, and then after that 10 or 15 minutes, then they'll leave. So that should be pretty unobtrusive, other than they're physically going to be in your room. Just so that you kind of know the things that they're going to be looking for. These are the things that we have to provide for them. They're going to be looking for areas of past instructional rounds to be addressed. And so those types of things are cooperative learning, are kids working together, do they have an opportunity to talk to one another, are students leading discussions with the teacher and are students leading the discussions with other students, or is it all teacher talk and the kids don't ever respond to anything? So that's one of the things they're going to look for. Another thing they're going to look for is the fundamental 5 practices, those making sure your lessons are framed, making sure that you're in the power zone, making sure that you recognize and reinforce students. So if you want to revisit those 5 things, most of you are using them day to day anyway. We're in classrooms, we see your we will and I will statements, and so we see you in the power zone, so you should be accustomed to that. They're going to make sure that they see writing. We're supposed to be writing in every class every day. So what happens if they're in there during that 10 or 15 minutes that you happen to not be writing something? As a campus, they're going to see the pattern. They should be able to tell, as a campus, the majority of teachers when we went in were writing. It should be happening. So that's something they're going to look for. And then the last thing that we've kind of worked on in the past is just student engagement and rigor. And our current problem of practice, if you'll notice at the top of your agenda, it's on there every time. It's increased the academic rigor through the use of seed questions as evidenced by critical writing and student talk. So remember, the seed questions are the things out of Fundamental 5 where you stop about every 10 to 15 minutes of instruction and give students an opportunity to process what you just taught. Or after every big concept, you stop and you ask students to process what you just taught. It's those pre-planned questions that we've talked about before. So if you have forgotten those things, you may want to revisit Fundamental 5 to look at those. So those are the things I'm going to tell them that we've worked on. And just so you know the history of our problem of practices, in 2012, Ms. Wilkerson was here as the principal, and when the people that came in and when the teachers observed each other, the prediction they made at that point was, if I were a student at Mineral Wells Junior High, I would be able to follow rules and complete worksheets. So that was with that group of kids we had, and that's what they saw at that time. So they decided that that's what we needed to work on. So our first problem of practice was replace compliant activities, which would basically be like those pencil paper worksheet type things, because that's what they saw in almost every classroom. Replace those activities with engaging activities using the instructional strategy of classroom talk. Because at that point, we were just trying to get kids to talk and be engaged in the lesson. They came back about a year later, maybe 9 months later, and they decided as a group, I mean, they had very positive things to say. They could see tremendous growth in what we told them we were expecting to see. And they said that you guys had all accomplished that problem of practice. They saw students talking, they saw students more engaged, the worksheets were minimized, and so, and you guys all said the same, the people that were here at that time said the same thing. So we took that problem of practice and we said, that's checked, we've got that down. So the second problem of practice was the one that's on the top of your agenda. And that's the one that we currently have. So we're trying to determine if that's still our problem of practice, or have we accomplished that and we're ready to move on? And so that's what the rounds are going to determine for this time. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about that process? No? So hopefully I've given you what they're going to be looking for. I've given you what they're going to do. I think they're going to start the rounds at approximately probably 10. They're going to be here probably around 9:30. We're going to debrief about what's a fact, what's a judgment, what we've worked on, and then they're going to start going into classrooms around 10 that day. And there'll be just a group of people coming in and out, and then we should wrap up around probably 1:20 or so. So they won't be, you won't have people consistently in your classroom from 9 to 10, 1:20 or 2 o'clock, but they'll be in and out during that time frame.
They'll just be in there one time.
Yes, your name is only on your name is assigned to a team of people, and so they'll come in at a certain time frame. So once they're in and out, then you shouldn't have any.
Do we need to leave our doors unlocked so they can come in?
I would suggest that you do leave your doors unlocked that day, so they can get in and out without trying to cause too much of a disturbance.
Right.
I asked Ms. Snow to move announcements that day, so, and it's gonna be in the weekly too, so you can remember, but announcements that day will be at 9:11, which is after, or right when second period starts, because I don't want to have announcements come on while people are in your room and it looks like students are not engaged or whatever. I'm trying to help out with the process there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other things that I'm not telling you? Forgetting to tell you. It's all gonna be in the weekly this week too. I've spelled it all out again, so if you get to your room or start thinking like, okay, what did he say about this? I tried to spell it out in there, so the whole front page this week will be about external rounds, so you can look at it. Got quiet. Not quite as exhausted as I am. Probably more. It's hot in here too. All right, that's it. That's all I've got.
Yep.
Jessica?
Short and simple. A couple of you ordered from FFA, maybe Denise McMahon. And your meat is in the office. So when you get through here, stop by the office and pick it up. Okay? I think that may have been Brooks, Brown, Meeson, and I'm not sure who else it may have been. Henderson. Facilities. I know a couple of you have asked me about the new fencing that we have up that we're still working on. What are we going to do about evacuation and exit drills? I am still working on those. We still haven't figured out where our gates are, how they're going to look. So evacuation is making that plan at the moment. We should have that in the next 2 weeks.
Jeff, what I didn't, I met with James Bradford today at the end of the day, and I haven't had time to debrief with you. He did tell me, like on the gates back here behind the building, because a lot of us exit out and go to that field in the back. There's a gate down closer to the math building, and he says it's going to have a lock on it that your classroom key will unlock. So it's like whoever, and we'll have to talk about the process, but I'm thinking whoever we get there first could easily unlock the gate. It's supposed to be like one of those keys that, kind of like a master, I guess, that would work with any key.
So right now we're not in a jam yet because we can still exit out the holes where there's no gates. But if we have to do that, that's our evacuation out those spots. After those are set, then we will come up with a new evacuation, and we'll talk about that at a later time. One of the things that I've noticed, and I have visited with a couple of people, for our new teachers particularly, your projectors, your lamps, the projector lamps in those projectors are roughly $175 to $250 a lamp. Okay? That's for the replacement. If you're not using that lamp, please turn that projector off. Even for a class period, for a conference, please turn it off. An hour here, an hour there makes a big difference when we're having to use different budgets to pay $250 to replace that lamp because it's run out of its time limit. So let's just make sure that we monitor our usage on those, and that's just one of those minor pieces. Y'all have done a wonderful job of monitoring our kids in the hallways, in the classrooms, in transitions. Please keep that up. We don't need to slack on that. Please keep monitoring them in the hallways when they're passing from place to place. We've had a huge decrease in as many kids in the hallways when we have 2 passing periods, and there's not as many, so there's not as many instances that are taken, but we need to continue that. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to begin with a couple of teachers on doing a Gallup poll. Our district is doing it for every student. Every student will go through. It'll be about a 10-minute poll. We'll move them through. We've done them a couple times in the past. We'll move them through the lab and back out. It takes about 10 minutes for a class to do it. I'm going to get with a couple of teachers or departments, and we'll move those through. We're working on that, plans for that. We'll do that within the next 2 weeks. Okay? Should take about a half a day. I'm looking at doing maybe 7th grade one in the morning on one day and 8th grade in the afternoon on the other. And I'll get with those teachers to make sure that's done. It's still on the growth mindset. It's a Gallup poll working with growth mindset. We've been asked to do that since we're kind of in the forefront of a school that's working on growth mindset and talking about it. We've been asked to do a Gallup poll to present that, or not to present it, but to test our students and to survey them. Okay? Those are the pieces that I had. Okay.
I want to let you know that I've seen a lot of you on your doors in your classrooms put that device is in use. You put sticky notes or signs, and so I thank you so much for that because that helps us so much. But I think I wanted to help you out and kind of make consistency with that. So I asked Beth to create a sign, and she did instantly today. So thank you, Beth. But there's some of these to pick up so that you can just put them by your door and smack this out instead of having to hand write it every time or whatever. So there's that. And you had something you wanted to share about.
On IRAM, I had an opportunity, I previewed it yesterday, and I don't want anybody to get discouraged when you see that every single team has at least one paraprofessional or two. My mind is just like running wild with ideas of what I'm gonna have the paraprofessionals who are on my team work with me. And just to let you know, my team is me and paraprofessionals. So, but everybody has paraprofessionals. Last year, our paraprofessionals created a problem with the district, and that's why I asked Greg the question I did. Have you created atomic learning accounts for the paraprofessionals? Because our gals were all in here, trying to get team points, and they were wanting those atomic learning. So he's going to address that to make sure. We've got such a great team. I know that y'all know how wonderful our paraprofessionals are this year, and just be creative. They'll be able to do some neat things. They'll be able to earn a lot of points. And I'm telling you, it's going to be good, even with paraprofessionals on your team. And every team has one or two paraprofessionals. So.
And Greg did catch me at the district office last week, and I was at admin meeting, and he caught me outside. And he said, "I just want to tell you, I'm seeing a lot of excitability and eagerness on your campus." And I said, "Well, please tell them that, because those are the kind of things that you need to hear." And I know that so often in education we get beat down and we're tired. I'm right there with you. So it's good sometimes to just feel that pat on the back. And that's why I've asked you to write sticky notes to put on doors, because I just feel like we constantly need to build each other up. Because if we don't build each other up, then who's going to? I mean, so often the news and the media tear us down, and I think as educators we need to just stand together and be there for one another. So I think it's just important.
And a parent leaving our pep rally the other day said, "Man, I love coming to the junior high because you just feel the friendly."
Mm-hmm.
And that, it's great for our campus.
So to wrap it up, I wrote on my little card, and I just wanted to share it because I've heard this week. I appreciate that we have time built in the day for PLCs. PLCs is a district initiative. We're going to do it one way or the other. So I was talking to some other campuses, and their teachers are expected to meet as a PLC, but they're not given the time to do so. And we were kind of in that boat last year. So the teachers have decided they don't want to stay after school to do it when they're exhausted. So they typically will choose to give up their conference, even though they can't be demanded to give up their conference. They just have to be told that they have to have a PLC. So when I was told that, I was just thinking how appreciative it is to me, or how thankful I am that we were allowed a schedule to make use of that time every day without having to take additional time. So I know those are the little details that sometimes we forget because we're in the mundane tasks of the day-to-day things. But just remember that you do have that time built in, and if you didn't, you would be doing it outside anyway. So I hope that you appreciate that too. If anybody else has anything to share, I would love to hear it. Otherwise, I'll read them. But
I have one more
be
thing.
positive.
That, Jeff says what a great job we're all doing monitoring the halls. It's gonna get easier next year, so you can look forward to, we're gonna remember to put 8th grade on, tops and 7th grade on bottoms, so that you won't have everybody on one side of the hall. We just forgot because last year we did it different. So that's something to look forward to next year.
Well, we
It's gonna
didn't
even
forget
get
it was a
easier.
misconception.
Oh,
from
misconception.
someone, so, yeah.
But it'll get even easier.
Misty.
I just wanted to say how much I appreciate the administrative support this year. It's been awesome. And I just say thank you.
Sometimes it feels like we don't support enough, so.
Well, I've noticed. Thank you for that.
Sometimes we get trapped in our office, and I feel guilty when I get trapped in there. So we're trying
Well,
to be out more, but
yeah,
it's tough.
we've missed you.
Jana?
As a new person, I just want to say thanks to everybody, because the team and helping work with all of our kids, they're our kids. They're not just mine or yours, they're ours, and I just really like that. And we all work together and try to help each other.
Thank you.
And what I wrote on mine is the technology integrator here. I'm real excited that the Chrome carts are hardly never here. Well, we've got a sign-in, a calendar back in the Chrome closet. If you've never had my little quick tutorial on using them, I can give that to you. But we'll have 7th grade use it in the afternoon, 8th grade use it in the morning, or this person use it, that person. They're just being used all the time, and that's exciting. I'm gonna try to get another cart. We don't know if that'll happen, but I'm gonna try to ask for donations and all that good stuff.
As another new person, I wrote on mine and before we said anything, lots of support and positive attitude is what I'm thankful for here. And I feel that I don't get to see everybody. I'm kind of stuck down that end a lot, but just going through the hallways and having other teachers say hi to my kids and to me and all, it's you can sense the support and the positive attitude. It really does make a big difference.
I think Brittany needs to be recognized for her work with the high school band, because they did excellent this last weekend.
Yes.
Mr. Barker, I would just like to say as a returning staff member, I am so glad to be home and to be back with such a supporting staff and all the new staff members, and support of the administration is undeniably the best, and I'm very thankful to be here. Thank you.
We really appreciate the support we got. We had made $1,530.
United Way.
Back on the technology thing about the carts, I did add to our campus improvement plan today, and Jessica is working on with Project Lead the Way. She's needing some devices in her room, some tablets, probably Android tablets.
I have them.
Oh, you already have them?
So that's what I was gonna say after she did the Chromebooks. I have a class set of 25 tablets in my room on a cart with chargers. I need them in the afternoons for periods 5, 6, and 7 for this semester. But in the mornings or any other times, if you want to borrow them, that you're more than willing, because they're
Just
the
this
schools.
semester?
Huh?
Just this semester?
This semester, I need them in the afternoon, but next semester, you can have them anytime. If you wanna do a project, they have internet, they're just like a little computer, they're like the Chromebooks, they're a fully working tablet with internet. So if you want them, just let me know.
Do they have any kind of protective coverings on them? Or?
They have a case on them, a magnetic case, and you open it up, and they're numbered now.
in the same way that I think I put in the weekly, if you're going to check out the Chrome carts, you know, you need to create a list of 1 through 28 and make sure that you, when you collect those back and the kids put them back in the cart, that you make sure they're all there before the kids leave, because those Chromebooks and the tablets are even smaller. They can easily walk out. And then anytime, like let's say only 10 are being used, lock that cart, have the key around your wrist. Never travel with the key in the cart out the doors, because you might break the key like I almost did last year. But we've only had one damaged Chromebook, and it was dropped, and there's a corner of it damaged, but they're all usable. But it's very, very important that you know who has what tablet every period, and that you make sure you get them back, and that you keep it locked. Never leave that cart unattended with it unlocked.
The tablets come with a charging cart?
Mhm.
Whenever Jessica was getting that device, or those devices, I knew I didn't have technology money. I don't have technology money this year. And so
Just
I
FYI.
called out to Carrie Carter and said, okay, we need these. They're used for a classroom, and is there a way we can get federal money? And she was very gracious, and she said, yes, I can get you. How many do you need? And I was like, okay, well, I need 18. And then I was like, well, actually, I need 22. No, I need 25. So I think we got 25, right?
We got 25.
Okay. And then I
One
said-
without a case.
Then I texted her back and said, we also need a cart.
So.
We also need cover cases. So she was like, okay, you're being needy, but I'm very thankful that we got those. We didn't have to, I mean, the federal funds paid for them. It didn't come out of campus budget, so.
And we got the cart fixed up today so they can all charge overnight. They couldn't.
But they were bought for federal funds to support Project Lead the Way. So she's got the priority. If she's using them, then she has to use them. But she's told you when she doesn't need them, so she'll just make sure
And
you
there-
return.
And there may be some times at the end of the semester when I don't need them in the afternoon, but we'll see. Just let me know. I can always work around your schedule. If you have something, let me know. I can move my projects around.
Anytime a child can't log into their Google accounts, they come to me, not the office.
Or me.
Yeah, don't go to her either. I'm the one who has the power
Follow that
for
chain
some
of command.
reason. And if any of you can't get into your Google accounts, let me know.